2019 AAPD Leadership Awards Gala. News footage. Caption: Dems back in play. New class of elected lawmakers to be sworn in today.
Now that we have more diversity, now that we have a Congress that looks more like America.
We're getting younger and more colorful.
Photos and video of the new group of diverse Congress members.
The Democratic freshman class, which is overwhelmingly diverse and female, includes the first Muslim and Native American women elected to the House.
They did not come to play around. They mean business.
535 seats in the U.S. Congress. Only 14 are held by disabled people. Sarah.
There's no training program for people with disabilities running for office. Whenever you're running with a disability, you not only have the ideas about someone with a disability and their capacity to be in office and the ableism and discrimination that comes along with that.
Headlines and articles about the lack of disability representation in politics.
There's very difficult physical barriers still to running campaigns. We want to see people with disabilities in government talking about the need for accessible housing and transportation, the need for health care, the need to stop straw bans.
Photos of protests, marches, and articles related to disability issues.
Issues that sound for non-disabled people like they're really small, but can be really life-changing issues for us. Come on, Cassie.
Videos of Sarah walking her dogs.
Come on, let's go. My name is Sarah Blahovec. I live in Alexandria, Virginia. I am the disability vote organizer for the National Council on Independent Living. I am a chronically ill disability activist and advocate with Crohn's disease.
Video of one of her dogs in her lap as she works at her computer.
So I've always been politically active and engaged in the democratic process. My parents got another puppy, and my mom found out that that puppy was from a puppy mill. And it was really upsetting for 10-year-old me to learn that my dog came from a background of being kept in a cage and her mother was abused.
Videos of puppy mill.
It was really important to me to write to my legislators and express my concerns about puppy mills and animal abuse. I stayed in touch with legislators through middle school and high school on other issues that really impacted me, like healthcare. And from there, I went to days at the Pennsylvania Capitol. I went to Washington, D.C., and stayed politically involved in middle school and high school.
Photos of Sarah throughout the years participating in Girl Scouts and activism work.
So the work that I do primarily focuses on civic engagement of people with disabilities and getting out the vote for the disability community and making sure that we make our elections accessible.
Headlines of articles written by Sarah about legislation that has negatively impacted people with disabilities.
But our leadership as people with disabilities really extends beyond that. So now I've been focusing on making campaigns accessible and trying to get people with disabilities to run their own campaigns for local and state elected office.
Sarah works at her computer.
With the Hearne Award, I am excited to start the first online and accessible run for office program for people with disabilities.
Example of video training series on YouTube.
So I'm going to put together a series of webinars with trainers from the campaign management field and hopefully pair them also with people with disabilities who have run for office. And more importantly, I want to find trainers who have an intersectional background. We're empowering women of color with disabilities to run for office, LGBT people with disabilities to run for office, and make sure that their needs are met in this curriculum. I hope to see people with disabilities feel empowered to run for office or look into running for office in 2020 and 2021. If we want to have power as a population, as a demographic, then we need to have multiple people representing us, people with a bunch of different backgrounds, a bunch of different disabilities.
Senator Tammy Duckworth.
Don't look at me with pity. I earned this wheelchair, and I own this wheelchair, and I'm proud of it, and I'm going to use it to, get places faster than you could ever run.
Whenever people with disabilities talk about their disability openly and identify as having a disability, it's really important for the millions of voters in this country with disabilities to be able to hear that and say there's someone representing me there.
Sarah Blahovec, recipient of the 2019 AAPD Paul G. Hearne Emerging Leader Award.